Welcome back to Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 7, The Hateful Darkness. Last time... What happened last time? It was so good. I just remember it was good. Jessica Jones, and Daniel and BB, and Heather and Buck, and Matt and Wilson, right at the end there. The only spoiler that might not even be a spoiler, but I'm making it a spoiler in my head. So basically I haven't gotten an official spoiler, but the way people are talking, or like I've seen like a headline from a news article, they spoilered the name, but I don't know. Things are pointing out that like maybe Daniel dies this episode. I haven't gotten official like somebody saying straight up Daniel dies or anything like that, but it's just the way people are referencing things in the show and thumbnails of like YouTube videos and such. It feels like Daniel's gonna die this episode, but we'll see. Other than that, I have no predictions for what the fuck we're doing. Karen, is getting cornered by Powell, so I don't know. There's a lot going on. So without further ado, let's get this episode and see what happens. Okay, so it's daylight now. What happened? Heather took one earring. She didn't take the full set. Girl. This is Karen. Yep. I'm surprised she's alive. Like, not that I want her to have gotten hurt by Powell, but I'm just surprised. Like, oh, he actually arrested her instead of doing something stupid. Also, what is she getting arrested for? Like, I know she was wanted, but what actually happened with Karen? Like, what did Fisk say that she, The only thing I can think of is Wesley, but like, I don't know. Is that why she's wanted? Because of Wesley? Oh God, no! Oh my God, why are you here?
I've never seen you scared before. I kind of like it.
Not fear.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say,
Order.
Why are you even
Miss Page. Order.
Good morning, sunshine.
Jessica, wait, hold on before you choose violence.
You sent your assholes.
Really sure you can't anymore? Because the little birdie said your powers ain't what they used to be.
Okay, they're bringing this plot point up. Thank you. Punch something.
Speaking of little birdies,
Only one that can connect you with Luke.
Where is he?
where is he?
He is working for Charles. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh God. What's he gonna do? You're free, Dex. You're healthy. Go. Go.
I hate you for Fatherland and for Agent Nadeem.
The dimension.
What do you want me to do?
Either kill Fisk or break Karen out. But I don't know if I believe Matt asking him to kill somebody. Mahoney! Hey! I have to believe this is a good thing. I'm scared. Like, I don't know. Part of me is like, oh shit, Mahoney's on the payroll or something. I don't know. But, like, I have to believe Brett is our guy.
We all got to stop meeting up like that. I can't cover for that long, but
Yes, I can.
What? He reveals some secret identity?
let's go.
Ew. So I zone out when they're doing relationship shit. I'm like, the season. It would have been fine if they weren't a thing. I don't get why they're trying to make this a thing.
He's a very skilled litigator.
He makes my skin crawl.
It's a check on you. Person to person.
Okay, but why did he call you here?
How are
Yep. I was gonna say, why did he call her here?
I'd like to think I have more self-control than that.
But you didn't.
No.
Where is he going? He's offering it to her? Okay.
People trusted it. It was real. And you turned it into some plastic commercial for Fisk fascist New York.
I didn't see you complaining. Right now, Buck Cashman is waiting for me to hand you over to him. And if I don't, then he comes after me. We need a safe house.
What are you, Jason Bourne?
Just
Like, Daniel is right, but I'm also like, isn't there a world where we just say, we lie and say, Bibi didn't do anything. She's not anything.
Is a vigilante the last resort to obtain the justice that a broken society can no longer supply?
A criminal. Responsible.
Jerry's just in broad daylight. Didn't they try to kill him? Matt Murdock.
Co-counsel, already calling for backup?
Ah! What are the implications? Like, it's definitely shocking. Oh, I guess because, yeah, he saved Fisk. I don't know. Like, what's the play here?
Tell me, what's the mission statement for the
These two.
anti-vigilante task force?
As a heart attack.
Ah!
And Officer Powell
God damn.
informed
You were told. What else did Officer Powell tell you to do?
Oh.
Did he tell you to kill Hector Ayala? Or maybe that was Mayor Fisk.
Objection. Immaterial, misleading, and prejudicial.
Sustained, Ms. Mead, the Attorney General. Alan, I think it's time we move forward on the suspension paperwork.
Like, yay, but I'm scared. They've already mentioned that she's on chopping block, so, like, again, anytime we see a character, I'm like, oh god, what's gonna happen to them now?
But I can't have anyone else knowing I did that.
I don't know, like, is he really falling in line with Buck?
Daniel, please, Daniel.
But I also don't feel like BB... Why would they kill off BB? That's what I'm curious about. Like, they killed off Ben. Why would they kill off BB too? Yay, but also... I don't know. It's the last second. We could have written this a little bit better. So yeah, what's going on with Matt now? He's a wanted man. What are we doing here? This is ridiculous. Ah! What are we... Okay, well... What are we doing? Oh, Matt! Did he really get clipped? And the... Okay, again, what the... Like... How did he get away? He hobbled away. They didn't crap. Ah! God, why? She's just doing her job. Girl! Okay, well. Bullseye! This is the one good deed? Protect her ass? That never would have came up. I never would have guessed that. Oh, God. I don't get... He dug himself into this hole. Why didn't you just lie and say she was fine? She was clean. Why did you have to tell them? Because now you dug yourself into this fucking hole, dude.
Miss Page.
Oh, God.
It's nice to finally meet you.
Woo!
Worries me. As it should. It's also totally hot. I'm sure you can understand. So, after a lifetime of, I don't know, being used as a puppet by all these men. Daddy, brother, friend Casso. Fuck you. Those files.
Oh,
Jesus.
music
That
for
really
that.
hurt you, didn't you? Enough that you'd run to them to feel safe. Please. Look, I get it. I'm so sorry.
Ah! Oh. Where's Mahoney?
Not even close.
Where's Mahoney? Help! Help! Okay, on a very personal level, I hated that scene because I want Karen to be the one on top and, like, you know, winning. But, like, a purely objective standpoint, I love what they're doing with Heather. I keep saying that. It's so fascinating. And I mean, it makes sense. She, you know, she's a psychologist. Like, she's she's fucked up in that way. Like, she shouldn't be doing what she's doing, falling in this trap. But I do like that, you know, in a verbal sparring match like they had, Heather was on top. And she had to resort to the violence because she was losing at the end. You know, I love that dynamic there. It's just Heather has fallen so far, and it's like, you know, on a personal, like, who am I backing? Obviously I'm backing Karen. But I do love, that was a great scene. I don't know. It's hard to watch, but it's like, oh, it was good. That was good television.
Where, Daniel?
Oh, Daniel.
Following his orders gonna do for you. How long till you're on the floor with a gun pointed at your head?
Oh. Buck's still gonna shoot him, but that was good.
Patient of difficult cases. I'm so helpless and alone.
Jessica?
With the electoral eternity. Amen.
That was the most emotion we've seen Buck this whole fucking show, which is why I was like, wait, he might actually do something. No. Okay. Very unfortunate commercial breaking because it really fucked up the flow of that. Honestly, that's what I'm trying to reconcile right now. It's like, yeah, just for transparency here, I went from the Karen and Heather face-off in the prison, and then I went to commercial break. And then we picked it back up with Buck and Daniel. So it was like, whoa. If we were staying in that moment of like tense and you know, suspense and stuff, I think it would have been hitting a lot better for me. But I'm trying to think objectively here. Like, yeah, everyone saw that coming. Everyone was calling, you know, it's going to suck at the end of the season when Buck kills Daniel or whatever. Buck has to kill Daniel. I don't know. I'm really interested in how they played that out. I'm gonna start at the end today because usually I try to have some semblance of order with how I'm talking about the episode. So I guess we'll talk at the end because that's what's on my mind right now. But yeah, Buck with Daniel. Like, my whole thing with Daniel this episode was, I do like the transformation. I've went back and forth. You know, you guys have seen my thoughts about him these last few episodes. So, like, I like that there is a redemption of Daniel. You know, he did the right thing at the end, but I think there was a way you could have gotten out of it alive. He fucked it up right to the very end. You know, like he waited till the 11th hour to try and turn that car around, and obviously he didn't have enough space to. You know, so we leave off last episode with with Daniel and BB, right? And the whole thing is like, what we're led to believe is that BB might be the mole, right? That was the whole thing. Find out if she is. Suss her out. Give her some fake information. See if she runs with it. Yada, yada, yada. So I don't get why we all of a sudden leaped. Like, maybe it was just a writing thing. But if so, like, they kind of writ themselves wrong. They should have put in a couple lines here to explain it better. But, you know, just following what the show has shown us, right? Buck and Daniel have this conversation. BB might be the mole. Here's my task for you. Give her some fake information. That's the Hellman thing that they were talking about. Or whatever, you know, whatever. It wasn't the Hellman thing. It was the other joke. But, you know, the point was, it was an if. It was a question mark. Is BB the mole? We don't know. Question mark. Obviously, I guess there is that in between the lines that Buck kind of already knew that Daniel was leaking information accidentally. That's why he did the scare tactic the other episode. So, like, it's, yeah, this is your last chance. But, I don't know. I think he could have, if Daniel was a bit smarter, he could have said, oh, BB's not the mole. You know, she didn't go for the bait or something. I don't know. But it seems like they just kind of writ themselves into a corner of, well, now Daniel, you know, has to die. I don't know. Because I feel like we could have obviously I think this is the penultimate episode. I believe it's 8 episodes. I guess last season was 9. I just checked, but I think this is only 8. So Anyways, I think that's kind of why they decided, okay, this has to be the one where Daniel dies or whatever. And that's kind of what makes me not appreciate that story beat. I think in the grand scheme of like as a character, I like the story they told with him, but I think that it could have been a smarter way to do it. And like, if the characters were smarter, then he wouldn't have died at all. You know, he could have lived for another episode at least. Lived another day, because yeah, I don't believe that, you know, all of a sudden Buck is for sure, you know, on BB's case, and for sure, like, we are expecting her to show up. There should have been a way for him to say, no, BB's not the mole. Sorry. Oops. You know, and still have her run for her life or whatever, you know, stop all this espionage bullshit and like get your heads on straight. But, you know, we could have both lived. So that's my gripe with it. As far as like Buck is concerned though, yeah, that was the most emotion I've ever seen from him. I'm really curious to see where it does lead, because it looks like his words, you know, basically, when is it your time to be on, you know, when is Fisk gonna be done with you? And I'm really curious, because I don't know if the show is going to address it. Maybe they will. They address something else that they're going to talk about later. But, you know, from what I've seen, Buck has failed a lot. Yes, he's kind of the hitman assassin. You know, he's doing a lot of stuff, but also he's kind of failed a lot. You know, he failed the very first meeting with Fisk, you know, killing that one dude, Leroy or whatever. Just, I don't know. It just feels like, what are we doing with Buck? I lost my train of thought, if you can't tell. But yeah, I don't know why we're doing with Buck. That's all there is to say. Will he betray Fisk? Will he stay loyal? Because, you know, all that hesitation just to kill him is such a weird choice, and I'm really curious to see where that payoff is. You know, what is that? What are we gonna do with him? Jessica showing up at the end, it's fine. They showed a little glimpse of Fisk right there during all that tense, you know, the prayer and Buck and Daniel, and then Fisk was just there sobbing for a second. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? Is that like, because they mentioned like he's different now, but then they said that he's different now in like a bad way, and like he is smarter, he is more calculating, he is like plotting. And so to see him like just breaking down over Vanessa, I don't know, it's such a, again, what are we saying here? So if you can't tell, the ending kind of deflated me for a couple of reasons. I mentioned it during the ad break. The Heather and Karen scene was really good, but also it made my stomach churn, because I'm like, oh, Heather, why? But, you know, I appreciate the verbal sparring. I love those kinds of moments. I just wish that obviously Karen had gotten out on top, but it's sitting in that uncomfortability of like, that, you know, it was a good moment still, as much as I hate it. And then Dex saving the governor, the mayor, the governor, the governor. I, for one, would have been like, I'm your new personal bodyguard. You're welcome. I wouldn't just be one and done, you know, because I feel like Fisk would maybe that's why Fisk was crying, because he knows it's going to fall apart now that he failed the assassination attempt. I don't know. I didn't think about that, actually. Maybe that's what's happening. But yeah, like, what's going on? I think things are getting kind of rushed. You know, here I am complaining about the episode length and the episode numbers, you know. I think this season could have done with one more episode. Just to get that Daniel and Buck relationship and BB, get that whole situation like stretched out a little bit, make it that all polished and clean. To have Fisk's downfall, you know, because I felt like at the end of last episode, I think that kind of felt like the heyday of like, okay, Fisk is on top. And like, as much as I hate that, I feel like this episode very quickly was like, no, he's on top, and everything's coming crashing down around him. I don't know. It's not as like twisty turvy as I'd like it. I feel like it's very much like, okay, he was here, now that we got to get him down here in 2 episodes. You know, we got to get rid of it. Like, I don't know. It feels like they're trying to wrap it up really quickly, and I think that one more episode, maybe a bit more on the episode themselves. Like, this was only a 40-minute episode, but yeah, just spending a little bit more time on the downfall, because I feel like they're really rushing it. Like, yeah, get out of here, Fisk, and they didn't need to do that. The court case was cool. I love the fallout of like, okay, Matt reveals himself, and now it's like the task force is after him. Whatever, the gunfire, I don't really care about. Listen, I was gonna say I don't really care about Jerry, but yeah, like that whole thing of them leaving is like, yeah, this was gonna happen. I don't know if I feel like it's kind of fuck around and find out. Like, as much as it sucks that it had to happen, Matt, you should have expected that. I don't know. It felt very much like, oh shit, how do we get out of here? It's like, Matt, if you know damn well you're going to reveal yourself in public, and you know this is all going to happen. This is the consequences of your actions. I feel like they played it weirdly of like, this was never on my mind. What? Yeah, this is what's going to happen. Heather getting the earring back. I don't know. What was that? Or like the second pair, whatever, the second earring. I don't get what the implication was there of like, I guess just act upon your more base instincts. Is that what Fisk is kind of trying to do? He's like, you know, trust your gut. be more, you know, instinctual rather than, because she is like so methodical and, you know, whatever, psychological and all that shit. But he's kind of like pushing her into that madness now. Is that what it is? I don't know. I'm just really curious, like what that whole encounter was between Fisk and Heather, because I felt like unresolved. Kind of like, I love that Mahoney's back. Kind of stupid cameo. They should have done more with that. You know, that he was literally just there to be like, oh, hey Karen, nice to see you. We gotta stop meeting like this. Come outside. That was it. You know, they could have had him at the end scene when they're getting Karen, or when they're getting Matt and Kirsten out of the courthouse. You could have had him like even being the one to walk Karen in, something. But it was kind of cheap of just like, okay, here, damn, here's Brett. Okay, stop complaining. Like, that's what it felt like. They should have given him something to do. That's all I'm saying. I love the Luke mention right at the beginning of the episode. That's all we're going to get for confirmation from the season of like Jessica and Luke are together. But it is interesting. I really hope we get, I mean, I'm sure we will, just based on the fact that like Mike Coulter is the one leaking everything. But I really want to see what the fuck has been happening with them, you know? Because last we left off, I believe it was Jessica Jones. That was actually the last show of the Netflix shows, I'm pretty sure. It was Jessica Jones, right? But the like end credit or even like post credit, something happened where it was like Luke Cage, you know, after his show, he's like becoming a kingpin underworld kind of guy too. And then we have him cameo in Jessica Jones at the end. I don't remember what the conversation was between them, but it was kind of like continuing that sort of idea of him going dark. So the fact that they pretty much confirmed that he is one of the people that the CIA, I guess that's, I don't know who confirms that Matthew Lillard's character is from the CIA. But anyways, or the FBI or wherever he's from. But, you know, Matthew Lillard's character, Charles, okay, let me try and have some semblance of knowing what I'm talking about. But Charles confirms that Luke Cage is part of his little group, whatever they're doing, anti-terrorism squad. And, you know, it's so far it's been played out to be that it's, you know, government shady. You know, it's a bad thing. So obviously we're still in that Luke is in a dark place, you know, storyline. So I'm really curious to see how that resolves, how that continues into season 3, where, you know, does that mean Luke is going to be an antagonist? Is Danny with him? Because they're kind of linked together in the set photos and stuff. So, yeah, sorry, Jessica, talking about your husband. Like, come on, right? But also, like, what happened to Claire? Because last we left, I mean, he kind of broke up with Claire, but, like, last we seen, Luke was kind of attached to Claire. So then, you know, I just want to, like, see, how did we get from point A to point B? You know, last we left off, yes, Luke was with Jessica, technically, like, they were in this proximity. I don't think they were together. So how did they get a kid? That's what we're led to believe, right? That Danielle is their child. That's kind of what I'm picking up. This episode is probably the most confirmation we're going to get, so I'm running with it. What happened? I'm excited for that stuff. And it sucks because it's also like, okay, I'm excited for that part more than whatever the fuck's going on here with the actual story, because they're fucking up. They honestly dropping the ball here with the ending. I think that's where I'm. that's where my rambling is going, I think. I really hope the next episode is just stellar. It's 10 out of 10, but we'll see. You know, I still stand by last episode 6. Yeah. Probably my favorite episode of the series, the Born Again series. So it's gonna be really hard to beat. If this is what followed it, this was kind of, it was the calm before the storm, but it's also just like, I don't think it really carried the momentum. We're losing steam in a bad way. We're like trying to wrap up the storyline just to wrap up the storyline, and I don't like that. You know, it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like this is the conclusion we should be getting. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. Thanks for joining me. Leave your thoughts on the comments below, and I'll see you in the finale, I guess, right? I think, unless there's another episode afterwards, in which case, my bad. But I believe the finale is next week, so I'll see you then. All right, bye.